Fake HOA dragged my dad from his car. They didn't know he's the county sheriff. You'd think people would know better than to manhandle a 63-year-old black man in broad daylight. But you haven't met the self-declared HOA patrol in Fairwood Glen. They don't ask questions, they don't check facts, and they definitely didn't recognize the man they dragged from his truck last Friday. That man was my father, Sheriff Darius Ellison. We moved here 6 months ago. Dad wanted to retire somewhere quiet, where no one knew his name. Just another guy with a fishing pole and a porch swing. He wore cargo pants and flannel, smiled at everyone, waved at joggers, and brought in neighbors' trash bins. The man could have run for mayor in 3 weeks, but the Fairwood Glen Neighborhood Enforcement Committee, run by a bleach-blonde nightmare named Karen Holloway, had other ideas, and she didn't care who he was. It started small. Karen left notes on our door. Driveway cluttered, noted. Then too many guests on weekends. Then your truck doesn't meet visual standards. His truck, an old F-150 with a Marine Corps bumper sticker and a disabled veteran plate. He brushed it off. Retired bullies trying to stay relevant. He said, but last Friday, it escalated to something else. Dad had just gotten back from the hardware store. He was wearing an old baseball cap and unloading lumber from the back seat. That's when Karen's officers rolled up. 2 men, cheap khakis, aviators, patches stitched onto black vests that read, Community Code Authority. They didn't speak. One pulled open his door and demanded ID. Dad, startled, said, "Excuse me." The other yanked the keys from the ignition. I watched it unfold from the living room window. By the time I got outside, they'd pulled my father out of the car and shoved him against the side panel like he was some threat. He didn't resist. But his badge, his actual sheriff's badge, fell out of his chest pocket and landed in the dirt. The second they saw it, the one holding him went stiff. Karen stepped out from her car, arms crossed. "What's the problem here?" the officer muttered. He's law enforcement." Karen rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, you expect me to believe that?" Then I stepped in. "He's Sheriff Darius Ellison of Clay County. You're assaulting the head of law enforcement." The look on Karen's face was the beginning of the end. We called real police, not the fake ones. When the cruiser pulled up and recognized Dad, the officer froze. "Sheriff Ellison, sir." "Are you okay?" Karen was still arguing. He was acting suspicious. "This is our jurisdiction." The officer raised an eyebrow. "You're claiming jurisdiction over the sheriff's driveway." Karen's voice cracked. "We're the HOA enforcement. There is no registered HOA here. Not legally." That night, everything came undone. Neighbors posted video. It went viral by sunrise. Retired sheriff assaulted by fake HOA patrol. Facebook lit up with outrage. The footage showed Karen smiling as Dad was pinned against his own vehicle. News vans rolled in by morning, but the worst was what we uncovered next. Karen's HOA was a sham. No legal filings, no official structure, just printed documents with her name signed under titles like Security Director and Neighborhood Safety Liaison. She'd fined over 30 families, issued warnings, threatened property seizures, and used her officers to harass new residents, especially Black and Latino ones. We weren't the first. My dad had had enough. He held a town meeting, not in uniform, just jeans and a button-up. He stood at the front of the community hall with folded arms. "I didn't move here to be the sheriff, but I am the sheriff, and what happened to me happens to others when no one's watching." He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He just stood there, steady. Then one by one, people came forward. A young couple harassed for their front porch lights. An Asian family ticketed for non-conforming decor. An Iraq war vet accused of illegal gatherings for hosting Bible study. We organized. A legal team helped file charges impersonating law enforcement, fraud, civil harassment, false imprisonment. The county issued an injunction. Karen was banned from any enforcement activity. Her officers were fined. One had a prior battery charge. Her fake operation dissolved overnight, but the work wasn't done. We formed a real neighborhood association, voluntary, inclusive, and transparent. Dad refused to lead it, but he came to every meeting, and when Karen tried to attend one, She was politely asked to leave. Now, we plant trees instead of arguing over yard signs. We host block parties instead of hearings. And we talk to our neighbors, not spy on them. I'll never forget that moment. My dad's still calm, still grounded, picking his badge up from the dirt while a woman who thought she held power looked on in silence. That badge didn't just represent a title. It represented truth. It represented earned authority. And it reminded all of us that bullies crumble when confronted by courage. Real justice doesn't need a vest or clipboard. It just needs a voice that refuses to stay silent. The end.